Howdy folks, welcome to War Thunder with the mighty Jingles. I am on the patch 1.33 development server. I finally figured out how to get on here. Well, actually I didn't figure it out. What I did was watch Origin's very good video guide on how to get the test server up and running. So what I'm going to do is, for those of you who are interested in getting on here yourself, instead of doing my own video guide to it, I'm just going to put a link in the video description to Origin's very good guide as to how to get on the test server. It's very simple and easy to understand. It had to be, because I had to figure out how to do it. and by doing that, it means that Origin is going to have to answer all of your tech support queries for when it doesn't work for you, rather than me. See what I did there, Origin? You're welcome. Anyway, yeah, here we are. We're on the test server. Obviously, that's just the P40 Kitty Hawk. Nothing new about that, although the camo scheme on it is new. More about that later. That's another new feature they've put into the game, which I think is actually pretty good. But first we're going to look at the research trees, because the new aircraft are the things that everybody is obviously the most interested in. And I'm going to start off with the Americans. The Americans did need some fighter love, because they didn't get anything between the P-51D Mustang, there at rank 13, and that was pretty much it, other than a whole bunch of B-17s and B-24s, well, one B-24 and a bunch of B-17s, between rank 13 and rank 20, when they got the F-86 Sabre. Well, there's some love for the US Air Force. They now get the F-80C Shooting Star at rank 18. And there it is. Isn't it pretty? Oh, yes. It has 650 caliber machine guns, so same as the Sabre, but that's pretty much it. You should be used to that now if you've been going down this line here, with the exception of the Aerocobras and the King Cobras and the P-38. Pretty much all of them are machine gun armed aircraft. If you want to get a cannon fix, you're going to have to go US Navy Aviation. Over here, in the US Navy line, we have two new Bearcats, the F-8F, the F-8F-1B at rank 15 and 16, and then the F-9F Panther at rank 19. Now, the first Bearcat, the F-8F-1, I'm not too sure about. I haven't flown it, so, take what I'm saying here with a pinch of salt. But armament-wise, it only has 450 caliber machine guns. That's not even as much as the Kitty Hawk at rank 4. But it's very small. And it seems to be a bit of a dogfighter, because it's fast, 676 kilometers per hour. The turn time is only 21.7 seconds. It's got pretty good, it's a reasonable rate of climb as well, 16.4 meters per second. That's not bad at all, actually. So, and again, without the benefit of having actually taken this thing out for a test flight, it seems that you might actually be able to dogfight in this little bugger, because it's a tiny little target. So the only downside is the weedy armament. However, that's at rank 15. When you get up to rank 16, the F-8F-1B, this thing has 420mm cannons. So this is where you're going to get your cannon fix if you like flying American fighters. And it's pretty much the same aircraft. In fact, I think it is exactly the same aircraft in all respects other than the armament. So that's good. And then, of course, you get at rank 19 the F-9F Panther, and this beauty, and it is pretty, this beauty has 4 20mm cannons. That's not all, though. There is a new premium American aircraft. This is the BTD Destroyer. It will set you back 1,600 gold, and it looks like this. That is a strange looking aircraft. It's got the Corsair's gull wings, and it's got this very square looking fuselage. It has 2 20mm cannons, so it's another cannon armed American aircraft. So, they are responding to the complaints of the community and giving people what they want. You can fly that thing at rank 10. So that's not bad, actually. So that's the Americans, all good stuff. Moving on to the Germans, there's nothing new whatsoever with the Germans. They may have moved some aircraft around a rank or two, but it's not obvious. It does look like there's absolutely nothing new in the German line. But to be fair, the Germans didn't really need anything new. They're a very well developed aircraft tech tree. They've got some great fighters, they've got some very capable medium bombers, at least until you get up to the Arado 234 at rank 20, which is just a big bag of shit. So yeah, the Germans, nothing new there. Moving on to the Russians. Now, there are two, is it two? 2 or 3 new Russians. I'm not entirely sure. You know, my knowledge of the Russian tech tree is not particularly good because I don't really play the Russians that much. However, there's definitely at least one new kid on the block, and that's the Yak-9K, and that's the one that everybody's been crying about because it has a 45mm cannon. You have the Yak-9P, the Yak-9T with a 37mm rapid firing cannon. You've got the Yak-9K with a 45mm very rapid firing cannon as well. However, I have taken this thing out for a test flight. In fact, you know what? I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's take it out for a test flight. It only has 29 rounds of ammunition for this cannon, and its backup is a single 12.7mm machine gun. We'll get this thing in the air and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here we go. Also note, if you have a look up in the top left of the screen, you'll see that your airspeed, your altitude, it now actually tells you what units of measurement you're using. Instead of just saying 190, it tells you it's 190 kilometers per hour. Instead of just saying 200, it tells you it's 200 meters. So that's all just minor modifications and stuff. So excuse me. So here's the Yak-9K. See how it turns. It does seem to wallow around the sky a lot. It's a bit like flying a Kitty Hawk. There's the roll rate, which isn't bad. I'm going to drop the flaps, and it doesn't really seem to provide that much more lift on the turns. The nose still does dip when you bring it around. Kill the flaps, maximum throttle. We're only 300 meters up. Let's try to put it into a loop. Oh, that's not that good. It's not especially bad, but it's not that good either. So it doesn't fly particularly well, but then again it doesn't fly particularly badly. But here's what everybody wants to know. What's the cannon like? Right, I'm going to fire the cannon and just watch the shot dispersal. Right, your first shot is probably going to be on target. After that, if you keep firing, God alone only knows where the shots are going to go. You ready? Look at that. Look at that. They're going all over the place. And there we go. Out of ammo, gun jammed. All I have left is the machine gun. So, yeah, it has a 45mm cannon, but you need to use that thing sparingly. Try to fire in bursts of 1, 2, 3 shots at the most, or you're never going to hit anything. Will that be enough to stop the crying on the forums? Yeah, of course it won't. Really? You thought people were not going to complain about an aircraft that's perceived as overpowered? You must be new here. So there you go. That is the Yak-9K with the 45mm cannon, which isn't all it's cracked up to be. There is another new Russian aircraft, at least one. I think there's a new lag as well, but you know, like I said, my knowledge of the Russian tech tree is not particularly great. But there's definitely a new jet, a rank 18 Yak-17, and there it is. And it looks pretty nasty. Oh, what's the engine doing down there? Oh, who cares what it looks like? Is it any good? Well, I don't know. It's not that fast. 755 kilometers per hour. It's not that well armed. 2 23mm cannons with a very, very limited ammo load. It only has 120 rounds of ammo for those 2 guns. But look at the turning time. 18.5 degrees per second. Is this a dogfighting jet? I think it might be. Sadly, I can't afford to buy one. I haven't got it unlocked, so I won't actually be able to find out. Moving on, I'm sure there's a new Lag 3, but I'm not sure which one of these it is. We've got a Lag 3 there at rank 3. Yep. Oh, there we go. There's a Lag 311. That's the new one. Right. What's the difference? The Lag 3.8 and the Lag 3.11. 2 of them, both at rank 3. So, right. Well, there you go. I knew there was a new Russian one in there anyway. I'm not sure what's 20mm cannon at rank 3, not to be argued with. Let's see, 566 kph, that one. Exactly the same. Turn time 21.5. Exactly the same. Well, I suppose it's just there to give you something else to fly, rather than all your biplanes when you're down at these low levels. So a choice of another 2 lags in there isn't a bad idea. We've got the lag 335, which is just 1, yeah, and the lag 366. Is that new? You know what, I couldn't tell you. And they're all pretty much the same. They've all got the same armament, possibly with variations to the ammo load. No, it all looks exactly the same. So yeah, bunch of new lags that you can mess around with there at low levels. So that's alright. British, one new British aircraft, and that's the de Havilland Vampire FB5. Oh, I love this thing. Saw one of these for the first time at the Solent Sky Aviation Museum in Southampton. Tiny little aircraft. I mean, look at the size of it. There's the cockpit there. You can see the size of the seat. It's just... it's tiny. They had a Swiss one of these in the museum at Southampton. And of course, they also had them at Duxford as well, obviously. And that... what rank is that? Let's have a look. That's a rank 19. So, yeah, there's another British jet. Great stuff. Of course, it's got 420mm cannons. But it's in the fighter bomber line. And that's accurate, of course. The naval fighters, the Royal Navy used these as fighter bombers, and they used the Sea Vixen as a fighter, which was kind of bizarre. If you've ever seen the size of a Sea Vixen, it's bloody huge. They should have used that as the bomber and the Vampire as the fighter, but, you know, they did what they did. And there it is in the game. So it's in the fighter bomber line, even though, well, let's have a look at the stats. Rate of climb, 50 meters per second. Are you shitting me? Holy crap. That is amazing. Look at the speed. 1,076 kilometers per hour. 15.5 kilometers maximum altitude. 20 degree per second turn time. That's pretty damn quick. 50 meters per second rate of climb. Holy shit. And full 20mm cannons. I might have to start grinding the Brits again. I want one of these. 50 meters per second. Let's have a look at the Meteor F8. Rate of climb, 19.3. Holy crap. That thing is absurdly... they've got climb performance like nothing else. Yes, I'm going to have to start grinding the Brits again. Anyway, moving on to the Japanese. Yeah, I couldn't see anything new in the Japanese either, which is kind of disappointing because it's probably the least fleshed out of the various nations' tech trees. And if anybody badly needed some new aircraft, it's the Japanese. But I'm sure they're working on it, and I'm sure they'll be on the way. So, that's the new aircraft. Now, there is more that's new to the game. It's not just the new aircraft. There's a whole... you know what? It's probably simpler just to show you. So, what I want to do is I want to find an aircraft that I do have a fair amount of experience on, but which I haven't unlocked everything for. So that's probably going to be the Mark 16 Spitfire, which I have. Yeah, I've got 92,000 experience on the Mark 16 Spitfire of a possible maximum 2.5 million. So what I'm going to show you now on the old Mark 16 is the new aircraft modification and customization options. Actually, before we go there, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, here we go, skins. Britain. Where is it? Various different skins that I have unlocked. Have I got anything? There we go. There, Spitfire Mark 16. I do have one. And this is easy to get with a Mark 16. You just shoot down 7 players and it unlocks the 74th Squadron Royal Air Force Belgium April 1945 colours. Which may even be that one. Let us have a look. I'm going to go to... oh, actually, that's the default camo for the Mark 16. So here we are. What do we have? Right, and this is the perfect example. So there's the one that I've unlocked by shooting down 10 aircraft. There it is. But there was a third option. There we go. England 1945. Now, if we go to the skins screen for Britain and we have a look at the Mark 16, it'll tell you what you need to do. There we go, England 1945. To unlock that one, you have to shoot down 30 enemy aircraft. And you can see I've done 19 of 30. Now, These skins, which obviously have no practical effect in game, they just make your aircraft look nice, you can get completely for free just by flying the aircraft and shooting things down with them. Except now, you can also pay gold. 200 gold. Oops, there we go. Actually click the button. And there it is. And you keep it. It's not temporary. And they're permanently unlocked now. So yeah, you can carry on just doing what you do, shooting down aircraft, destroying your ground targets, whatever it is, to unlock the various skins in the game and get them without having to pay a penny. But if you're impatient and you've got the gold, you can now unlock them for gold. And that theme continues when we go to the weapons and aircraft modification screen. Now there are some translation issues here, but it's just the development server, don't get too worried about it. This is completely new. So what you see here is at the top here you have what your aircraft is currently equipped with. So my 12.7mm machine guns have the universal ammo loadout because that's all I've unlocked. Ground target ammo, I haven't unlocked, blah blah blah. But they're unlocked a different way now, but we're going to get to that in a moment. And you can see my offensive 20mm, I've got default, universal, that's the omni-purpose ammunition, universal they call it now, although it still says omni-purpose in the pop-up, and the tracer, which I've unlocked, but I'm using omni-purpose or universal ammo. So that's my current setup on the aircraft. Now what we have down here is you've got the columns are flight performance, survivability and weaponry, and on aircraft that have secondary weapons, some of them have there's an additional column over here for secondary weapons. You can see here you can either have nothing or 200 kilo bombs, and I have 200 kilo bombs strapped on. I'm going to just switch that for without load at the moment just to illustrate something else. And then the rows are rank 1, 2, 3 and 4 upgrades. Now you can see that this is a carryover from the old system. I'd already unlocked the upgraded engine for my Mark 16, but that's down here at rank 3, and it's telling me to gain access to tier 3 you need one more modification bought in the previous tier. What's all that about? Well, here we go. Let's have a look at the first ones that you're going to have access to. Now, because I already have XP on this aircraft, I've already unlocked access to these things. We have fuselage repair, and they give you all sorts of numbers about drag coefficients and zero lift drag coefficients and blah, 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 blah. But what it does tell you, in nice plain language at the end, says, what is this actually going to give you? 4 kilometers per hour to your maximum speed. Alright, I'll buy that. Rank 2 is still locked, because I need to buy 2 upgrades from rank 1. What does a radiator replacement do? And again, it gives you all sorts of numbers. Minus 5% to the cooling time for arcade afterburning, so you can use your wartime emergency power more often. And something about drag coefficient of fuselage. What does that actually give me? And it tells you again, plus 5 kilometers per hour to your maximum speed. Alright, I'll have that as well. That has now unlocked rank 2. But over here, new 12mm machine guns. What does that do? Minus 4 meters to the weapon spread at 500 meters distance, so your shots disperse less at range, that they stay on target more, and minus 19% to weapon overheat, so you can keep firing them longer without your weapons jamming because they have overheated. Okay, that sounds good. I'm going to buy that as well. And you're going to want to buy that because what that does is then allow you to go here. Offensive 12mm. What's all that about? Currently in the game, you unlock the various different ammo belts for your weapons by just gaining experience on the aircraft. Doesn't happen that way anymore. Now what you do is when I buy that, it's unlocked all of those. So that's how that works now. And now I can go for stealth ammo on my machine guns. Yay! And of course, mouse over it, it tells you exactly what the stealth ammo is. Armor piercing incendiary and immediate action incendiary. No tracer whatsoever. You got the tracer rounds, the ground target rounds, universal and default. So bang, there you go. What else is available at rank 2? Compressor replacement. What does that do? It's an extra 80.8 horsepower to your engine power. So more maximum speed, more climb rate, less virage time, whatever the hell virage time is. But it sounds good, so I'm going to go ahead and buy it. That's now unlocked rank 3. But only one of them is lit up. We're going to come to that in a second. So I've got 2 upgrades from rank 2. That's unlocked rank 3. Airframe replacement. Again, better climb rate. All sorts of good stuff. Also increases the strength of the fuselage and the airframe. and reduces the weight of the aircraft. So it's going to be, you're going to be able to take more hits before your aircraft burns away. So we're going to, yeah, definitely, no-brainer, we're going to go for that as well. Now here we have an engine replacement, which I already have because I'd unlocked it under the old system. An extra 110.8 horsepower to the engine power. Now instead of just saying new engine replaces the old one, it actually tells you what the new engine does. More maximum speed, more climb rate, all good stuff. So that's on there anyway. Now, why can't I buy these? Well, mouse over it. Aircraft experience is still a factor. So because I only have 92,000 experience on my Mark 16 Spitfire, I need 57,000 more. It's 150,000 XP. Okay, so I can't get that. New 20mm cannons, and again, just more accurate cannons. Oh no, but I need 230,000 experience, so I need another 137,000 XP. Unless I'm prepared to spend some gold. 260 gold, unlock them straight away. 260 gold, unlock that straight away. That's now unlocked. Rank 4 upgrades. And again, you can just carry on playing the aircraft and accumulating XP on the aircraft and get this lot without spending a single piece of gold. But if you're impatient and rich, and it doesn't cost you that much, I can go for 150 octane fuel. I'd need another 247,000 XP before I could unlock that myself. Or I can spend 330 gold. And that gives me another 80.7 horsepower to my engine. New engine throttle would give me another 197.6 horsepower to my engine. And an extra 3.5 meters per second to my climb rate. So there's another 330 gold spent. Cover replacement. Again, translation issues. What does that give me? Better speed, better climb rate, less virage time. Okay. And then I'm now about to unlock, in fact, we got my offensive 20. Well, you see, I've already unlocked with XP myself anyway. From the old system, the Tracer and the Omnipurpose ammo belt. That's not how you do it anymore. Now it's done this way. And if you haven't unlocked the XP for it, let's see, 450,000 XP on that aircraft. So I'm going to spend gold. Running out of gold here. Bang, that is now unlocked. All the different kinds of ammo for my 20mm cannons as well. Now, this isn't working 100%, but don't forget this is just the test server. I've no doubt that they will fix this completely before it goes live. These stats aren't always updating immediately to reflect the changes that you have made. So I'm going to run a little test here. This might or might not work. Let's have a look. Let's take off the compressor replacement. Let's take these performance upgrades off. Actually, let's put them all back on, and so we can compare the numbers first before I do that. So, bang, there. That now says maximum speed 678 kilometers per hour, turn time 16.5. That's pretty good actually. 16.5 degrees per second. Rate of climb 27.1 meters per second. So we'll just look at the speed first of all. 678 kilometers per hour. So I'm pretty sure this will actually work. So let's get rid of all of these flight performance upgrades. And if we go back, yep, it does. My airplane's maximum speed has dropped to 631 kilometers per hour from 670. So this is what I was trying to get at. These stats here are now accurate. I mean, perhaps they always were, but there was no real way of telling. These stats now actually reflect the performance of the aircraft that you have sitting here in the hangar. And you'll note, in fact, here we go. Let's remove the bombs as well, because we're down to 631 kilometers per hour. When I remove the bombs, oh, it hasn't actually affected. Oh, perhaps it affected the turn time and the rate of climb. Let's have a look. Let's test it out. Put the bombs back on. They're only 100 kilo bombs. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Secondary weapon modification. It doesn't consider after the ammo is depleted except secondary cannons and machine guns. So it tells you right there. Because I put that on, I've just lost 41 kilometers per hour from my maximum speed. I've lost a bit of turn time, and I've lost a bit of rate of climb. So, and there, yeah, it's a little bit buggy. It doesn't always turn. It doesn't always reflect straight away after you've made the changes to the aircraft. But that's really, really good. If they can get that working 100%, that's going to be fantastic, because it allows you. And people love tweaking with their aircraft. You know, they love trying to maximize. They're thinking, okay, well, if I go for this and that and that, and obviously, you know, obviously putting stuff like all this sort of stuff on is an absolute no-brainer. But you know what? I'll show you what I'm talking about. Again, it's easier just to show you than it is to talk about it. So we're going to go to the Germans, and we're going to have a look at, here it is, the BF-109 F4 Trop. This thing can have suspended 20mm cannons under the wings. And this is the sort of thing I'm on about. You can now calculate for yourself whether or not it's worth taking the performance hit by putting weapon pods under the wings to get that extra firepower, or not. And people love tweaking with the numbers. Obviously, you're looking at stuff like flight performance. There's nothing you can put on in the flight performance upgrades that's going to degrade the performance of your aircraft. But when it comes to the weaponry, there certainly is. So, yeah, things like... and with these suspended 30mm cannons, it's a choice of bombs or the extra 30mm. So it's a bit of a no-brainer, really. You're going to pick the extra 30mm almost all the time. But just the fact that they've put these different comparison figures in here, and when they work, it's great. But again, it's a test server. You know, it's not supposed to work 100%. I'm certain it'll work 100% before they ship it onto the live server. But that's fantastic news, because it lets you tweak the performance of the aircraft. It lets you figure out whether or not it's worth going for things like extra 30mm cannons on your nose, depending on how you like to fly the aircraft, how you like to fly the aircraft, or whether or not you think, no, I want performance, so instead of putting those on, there we go, secondary armaments, you can have the bombs or the cannons or nothing. So without load, bang, and there you go. Negative modifiers gone. Thing handles like a proper BF-109 F4 again. So there you go. The test server, all sorts of new stuff. And to be honest, I'm more excited about things like this new upgrade screen, because I love tinkering. And I'm going to spend hours going through. And don't forget, right, as soon as 1.33 goes live, a lot of this stuff is going to be already unlocked on aircraft that you already have experience on. So you're going to be doing this a lot, going through every aircraft you've got and going, oh yeah, I can afford that on that. Oh, and that's pretty much it. What's next? And then you go to, oh, I've clicked the wrong button. Yeah, and oh, fuselage repair on that as well. Yeah, go ahead. So you're going to be spending hours going through every aircraft that you have researched, just seeing what you've already unlocked, and tinkering away and just setting things up the way you want them. So that, ladies and gents, at the moment, is patch 1.33. Hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you next time.